Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here. So, of course, today we are continuing our expansion tier list. Now, by the time this video gets posted, Ash and Iron will be out at this point. However, because I'm recording this like a little bit before it releases, we are going to be looking at the trailer and I will give my thoughts on where I think it's going to land. Um, Also, kind of, I'm not really gonna count the whole season of reclamation as an actual season because it's not. There's no story, there's no really exclusive activities or anything like that. There's no exotic mission. So, yeah, I'm not counting no season of reclamation as an actual thing. So yeah. If y'all are new around here, by the way, I do apologize for those that are more here for the Souls game stuff. Don't worry, I do have some stuff planned. Torchic and I are currently going through Lords of the Fallen co-op, so expect a review for that to drop. And my thoughts on Lords of the Fallen 2.0, um, which y'all be interested to see. That's going to be a really important video if you are thinking about buying one person buying a copy of it and the other person playing it. I'm also going to be discussing platform issues, so that's going to be a really important video for y'all, so that y'all can really decide whether or not y'all actually want to get invested in Lords of the Fallen 2.0, considering that Lords of the Fallen 2 released. Um, Also, I will say the new Night Rain stuff, I'm probably going to be posting full runs of the new Night Rain thing. So unless y'all would rather it be streamed, but yeah, I will probably be posting full runs of that. And then of course in the winter y'all be getting Lights of P. At least unless Phantom Blade Zero. Whenever Phantom Blade Zero releases, any video production, like any video or whatever, is going to cease, and Phantom Blade Zero is going to be number one priority. Just giving y'all a heads up there. All right, now as far as criteria for this tier list, um, as far as criteria for this tier list, I am not considering the state of the game that the expansion/season was released in, because otherwise, I would not be able to put Rise of Iron, Taken King, Warmind for say like any of that stuff. I would not be able to put them in the tier list because I was not around for those. However, I have played them because I did go back and play D1. This would also mean Edge of Fate would instantly go in F tier. If I consider the general state that the game is in, I'm considering what you paid for. What you paid for. Now, again, I've already done this much. Something I'm going to know if you are just stepping in here, which is perfectly fine to start with part 2. Um, the base Destiny, wherever, yeah, this is not meaning like it's meaning Red War. It's meaning Red War campaign, that sort of deal. The reason why did not include base Destiny 1 is because I gotta be perfectly honest, I'm not sure where it ends. I'm not sure where it would be considered for base Destiny 1 to be. So that was a little bit confusing for me going back and playing Destiny 1. I believe this is the April update. I don't know what this entails. Age of Triumph, I did not do a single Destiny 1 raid, so I just am not going to know about this. And the rest of these seasons, I did not play any of them. So, and even though I started playing during Season of Arrivals, I was a free-to-play player at the time. I did not really put money into Destiny 2 until the online happened. So that's when I started putting money into the game. So yeah, that's why I just can't count Season of Arrivals. I can't properly rank these because I don't have any experience with them. So yeah, but this is the current tier list. If y'all want to hear my reasoning for where I place certain things, go back into a previous video. Now, we are gonna have some Fs. I'm just gonna preface this by saying we are gonna have some Fs in this post Witch Queen era. At the end of the video, I'm gonna kind of recap everything as well so that y'all are not, super lost or anything. We are going to be taking a look at trailers as well, more so to refresh. because there were some seasons and expansions that I thought were better than they were based on the trailer, and some I thought were worse than what they were based on the trailer. So it's a little bit of an iffy situation. Also, if y'all would like to see, maybe me go back to Destiny 1, the only issue is I would definitely do raids, maybe start a new character or whatever. We might do that in the future at some point. But it's like possibly. It depends on video game releases. If I was a bigger channel, then I would probably do it as like a charity thing. But I have to work. So I have to work a full-time job. So yeah. All right. So where we left off was Season of the Haunted. Season of the Haunted. Season of the Haunted. There's also where they stopped releasing multiple trailers at the same time. Well, in like a reveal and then a launch.
The lunar pyramid stirs to the Leviathan's call.
That's gonna distract me.
It manifests our deepest regrets. Where once we banished the nightmares, a new terror rouses them from their slumber. We will not cower in fear of nightmares. We will rise to meet the enemy and confront our darkest fears with open eyes.
Still some of the coolest looking armor. I'm not counting Solar 3.0.
The nightmares are converging on your location. Begin the harvest. And so you become an eater of fear. Magnificent.
Trespasser was never good.
It is the beginning of the end.
Hmm. 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 Season of the Haunted is kind of a tough one. Season of the Haunted is kind of a tough one. Because, like, Duality, it was a fantastic dungeon. Fantastic dungeon. At the time, Storm Chaser was good. By the way, again, these are seasons that I was around for, so I'm gonna have a little bit more to say about these. Um, for seasons, I'm gonna be considering the weapons and stuff with the expansion. I'm gonna weigh more of the like raid story content, post campaign content, that sort of deal. And not necessarily the weapons as much, because if I'm being perfectly honest, none of the expansions have super good weapons. Beyond Light did not have super good weapons. Witch Queen, the Destination weapons were not super good either. Lightfall, same situation. Usually there's only one weapon from the Destination Max that's actually really, really good. And Edge of Fate, same situation. So I'm not going to be considering those. And the flip side is going to be the case for exotics. So expansion exotics, I'm going to weigh a little bit more than I am for season exotics because they're just for the season, unless there's an exotic mission. But the Duality Dungeon was really cool. I really liked it. I think it was my second dungeon doing completely blind. I believe. Yeah, I believe it was our second dungeon that I believe because Torchic was still playing at the time. I think it was Torchic and I's first dungeon blind. Well, I think it was her first dungeon doing blind. It was my second. So, yeah, it was really fun. Um, Hard Shadow, I really like as an exotic. The Leviathan was a little disappointing because the area that I wanted to see was the outside of the Leviathan. like when you launch into the Raiden, you have to climb into the Leviathan. That's the area I really wanted to see. Um, the missions were pretty good. The story was pretty strong, in my opinion. The story was strong at the time. Again, I'm not really counting Solar 3.0 because obviously I didn't have to count Void for Witch Queen. That being said, as far as Strain and Stasis, I am considering them with their expansions because you cannot use. I believe Stasis is free now, maybe, but at least with Strand and Prismatic, you cannot use those without buying their respective expansions. Meanwhile, the 3.0s are all free to play, and also some of the older stuff like Forsaken had new supers and new trees. So I'm not very many people are gonna know about that nowadays. So yeah, but Season of the Haunted, the only season I compare it to is Season of the Hunt, and I think I'm gonna put it there. I don't think it's as bad as these two necessarily. Mostly carried by story. Mostly carried by story. Okay. Ooh. Oh, Season of the Plunder. Season of the Plunder. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay. Just to give a little bit of context, holy shit. Season of the Plunder was an almighty low for 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 Destiny as a whole. So, but the trailer was good from what I remember. I remember really liking the trailer.
Aramis has broken free. The old crew is now really under her.
I think Kingsfall released. This had a high amount of playtime for me because of Kingsfall.
What is the human word?
Pirates.
The full vanguard should be rallied to deal with these outlaws.
Well, anchors away.
Now go show those pirates what happens when they crush Spiderhead. Hope you've got ammunition, Guardian.
Time to blow this rickety barge. You got the goods, Guardian.
Oh yeah, because it was Arc 3.0 with Season of the Plunder. Oh.
Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, getting a little swept up in all this adventuring.
Yeah, wait, yeah, Season of the Plunder had Kingsfall, and then in Your Life, oh my god, Crota's End. They didn't show Kingsfall at all. What the fuck? Why didn't they show Kingsfall? What? Why didn't they show Kingsfall at all in the trailer? Well, I think they show Kingsfall separately. I think they show Kingsfall separately. Okay. Also, another reason why Haunt is going to be in B is because of the loop. Because Callous Mini Tool was really good. Ostringer was good at the time. But also, like, things like Storm Chaser was so good. Unforgiven is still one of my favorite Void SMGs in the entire game. It also had our first Stasis GL in the kinetic slot, I believe. At least the one that had blinding nades on it. Now, Season of the Plunder, Kingsfall absolutely carried the season. The story was bad. The story was bad. Actually, playing through it was not fun either. They really should, like, Bungie used to be known for, like, doing, like, some epic vehicle sections. But, like, this was the perfect opportunity to have us drive a fucking catch. Like, holy shit. Both activities were way too similar. It was like Cat Crash and then something else, but they were so obscenely similar to each other that it was very difficult to tell the difference between the two. There is a future season that is sort of like this as well, but yeah, this was not a great. I don't think it deserves D because of King's Fall. King's Fall is the only reason Season of the Plunder is staying out of C tier. It is the only reason. It's the old King's Fall is too good for me to. But without King's Fall, sure would for sure be in D. I don't think necessarily we have anything so far that's deserving of F, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And also, I don't think we got an exotic mission in here at all. No, I don't think we got an exotic mission at all. Either. So, god damn. Oh man, Witch Queen was, in my opinion, the year of Witch Queen is still the worst year. And yes, I know Final Shape had a really rough year, but in my opinion, and even Year of Lightfall or whatever was not particularly great. But Year of Witch Queen still, and to this day, in my opinion, Year of Witch Queen was the worst year in Destiny that I've experienced. So yeah, here's Season of the Seraph, which was a massive bright spot.
Rasputin, the War Mind. The most powerful artificial intelligence humanity ever created. It's only a matter of time before his warsats fall into the wrong hands.
You know what I just forgot? Amanda Holiday died. Season of not Defiance, season of whatever. Earlier in the first year of Witch Queen. I've completely forgot Amanda Holiday died. I completely forgot. Holy shit. I think it was there, right? It wasn't Season of Defiance, right? Amanda Holiday died at some point. It was so negligible, but the reason why it reminded me because of Rasputin's situation.
This time, there is no escape.
I'm really curious if they show the pulse rifle here at all, which I don't think so.
We must secure the Warsat network before it's too late. Rebuilding the War Mind is now top priority.
Oh, they do show the exotic. Okay. The exotic mission.
It's time.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this in A. Season of the Seraph was really was pretty good. I don't, in my opinion, it just can't go with Season of the Chosen and Splicer, mostly due to story. Not saying that the story was bad or anything, but the thing is, what is the criticism that I have with Cayde? It's a similar piece of criticism that I had with Amanda's death as well. In Forsaken, Cayde's death happens so quickly. It happens so quickly that you have no time to bond with the character before you kill him off, essentially. Unless you played Destiny 1. That being said, obviously, if you started with D1, this list is going to be entirely different for you. This is going to be in the Forsaken, where Forsaken is at, is going to be entirely different dependent on when you played and what you played before Forsaken happened. Obviously. Now, for Amanda Holiday, how everyone reacted to Amanda Holiday is how... Okay. I don't know if you heard that in the background, but there's like a tornado warning. Don't worry, it's a weekly thing, I'm pretty sure. At least I hope. If y'all don't never hear me post it again, tornado sirens going off. Anyways, but how the general player base felt about Amanda Holiday's death is how most people that did not play Destiny 1 or some of D2 that's how they feel about Cade's death. And that is how I think Rasputin is going to be viewed, well, would be viewed by people that did not play Warmind. That being said, even though I played Warmind, there was such a massive gap of time between Warmind and whenever Rasputin was relevant again that I was kind of just like, Rasputin died. Oh well. That being said, I did sort of like Eris's involvement or whatever. Clovis Bray's whole scenario was pretty cool as well. I will say though, Season of the Seraph did a way better job of at least trying to build up to Rasputin's death. Trying to build some character relation between Anna Bray and Rasputin before killing him off, which is something they did not do for Amanda Holiday, really, or, Cade. So, which, ooh, I have to reserve some thoughts for later, but this thing did have a really good exotic mission. Did I like it more than Presage? No. Did I like it as much as Harbinger? Did I like it more than Harbinger, though? Yes, actually. Even though I loved Harbinger, there's just a few things in Harbinger that I was not a huge fan of. I love the Robo Dog. It kind of sucks that one, he can't really run around with us or anything. There's just so many features that I like in this game that aren't there. But at least being able to pet him is nice and everything. The actual exotic from the mission was pretty cool as well. It came with Spire of the Watcher. I believe Witch Queen was the year you had to buy dungeons separately? Right? No, I think that came with their year still. Maybe, I don't remember. I'm still gonna consider them with their seasons. Because I don't remember. I don't fucking remember. Um, but Spire of the Watcher was fun as well. We got some cowboy gear. The weapons were trash. But, we're not going to talk about that. Even Hierarchy of Neva's not particularly great either. But it's a fun dungeon to run, I'm going to be real. And as far as the loot from Season of the Seraph, it was pretty much all not great. Like, as far as strict loot goes, Season of the Plunder was, well, if we consider the endgame activity with their Sojin expansion or whatever, I would say Season of the Seraph was the worst. Well, no, I would say Season of the Hunt was worse, was the absolute worst, and then I would say Season of the Seraph is the worst out of the other three. Because Season of the Plunder had Kingsfall loot to work with, and some Season of the Plunder stuff was not that bad, because you have Volt Shot, which was new, and then obviously Season of the Haunted had good loot in the season and the dungeon, but Season of the Seraph had no good loot in the dungeon, and basically no good loot outside of the LMG. That was it. That was the only piece of good loot in Season of the Seraph, if I'm being perfectly honest. That machine gun was the only good thing in there. So yeah, but other than that, the activities were pretty fun as well. It's just, man, Warmind stuff is so cool. I really like Warmind stuff. But yeah, that's why it's going in A. Again, keep in mind, we are considering these as a season. We're not trying to put these up against expansions necessarily. Expansions are going to be put under a little bit more of a microscope. Alright, and I hope there is a launch trailer. No, just opening cinematic. Just environment trailer. We're gonna go with the reveal trailer for Lightfall. I remember this had so much hype. I like how we never saw Callus actually get turned into a thing before a disciple in Lightfall. He was already the disciple at the start.
What they do then.
Okay. Again, we're not considering the state of the game was in, because otherwise, you know, there's some Titan shit that we're not really going to be discussing. We're not really going to be discussing. So, okay, Lightfall is a weird situation. It's a weird situation. Now, is it going in S? Absolutely not. Is it going in F? Absolutely not either. Now again, I have played Lightfall a little bit more recently because, you know, I had to do the whole Abridged series. Here's what I'm gonna say: the Lightfall story is not bad. It's not bad. It has annoying ass characters, but in terms of actually playing through the campaign, it wasn't bad at all. There were some moments that were rough, but all in all, decent experience. Strand was a new subclass, so that was cool. There was a little. It's just. It's just. I don't like the raid. I don't like Rune of Nightmares. The aesthetic is great. Some of the weapons are pretty good, but the armor is trash. The exotic is not really my cup of tea. It's more of a PvP thing. But exotics has not been. Raid exotics has not been really best in slots since Destiny 2 has started. Oh, no, I would say post Legend of Acrius, because from what I've heard, Legend of Acrius was meta for some time. But yeah, since then, well, I would say Garden of Salvation Divinity was probably the last raid exotic that was basically best in slot. But well, no, yeah, Divinity came after 1K. Yeah, Divinity came after 1K. But Runehammers I didn't really like. Tormentor as a new enemy type was pretty cool. Osiris is just annoying as fuck. Like, what is his fucking name? Nimbus was so annoying as well. Ronan's death was kind of premature and kind of empty feeling. I felt like personally leaned a little bit too hard into Strand, being the story or whatever. However, post content wasn't that bad. Terminal Overload was pretty fun. The Random Vex event was pretty cool as well. But despite that, I think I just have to put it in C. I think I have to put it in C. I don't think it's as bad as Curse of Osiris. Oh, well, wait, but well, it did come with one strike. Oh, wow, it only came with one strike is the problem. Mm. Mm. Something I have to keep in mind as well, Lightfall is the only destination title that I have completed because the rest are super fucking time gated. To the point where if you don't do them at the time, you're kind of screwed. I would have done Beyond Lights, but I can't do it currently. Because the game is basically kaput. But oh yeah, I don't think I can justifiably put it in D because I do like grappling. I do like grappling, and Suspend was pretty fun. And it did have some halfway decent post campaign content. And the destination was kind of sizable as well. I do like the Lost Sectors too. It's just, yeah. I think I'm just gonna leave it in C. I think C is where it goes. I can C is where it goes. Like now that I'm looking at things, okay. I might have to shift things around, but well, but actually no. Okay. Anyways, we now have Season of Defiance.
We now face
Oh, this is where Amanda Holiday died, right?
one on the far reaches
think so.
of the system,
Yeah.
and the other at your home, Earth.
The Shadow Legion has begun taking captives to the pyramids.
Together, we will save the captives. The light provides.
You will need more than the light to stand against the witness, but I can provide. Your light sings with the incantations I send forth. Let it flow through you, Queen's Guard, and I shall knight you myself. Breach the Ascendant Plane, and banish those who would oppose you.
Remember what they took from us. Don't let anything stand in your way.
I am ready to cut them down.
I remember where I came from and who I'm fighting for.
Devotion. Bravery. Sacrifice.
Your people need their heroes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't. Okay. F. F. This is the one where there was really no aspect of the season that I actually liked. The story was abysmal. Let's just cut straight to the chase. The story was abysmal. Amanda Holiday's death just meant fucking nothing. The activity was alright, but like it wasn't particularly fun either. All of the weapons were bad except for really one. Like none of the weapons were super good. Except for maybe the strand auto rifle, and that was because at the time we barely had any strand weapons. But other than that, the season was just pretty bad. Let's just keep it real here on this channel. It was bad. It was bad. It's our first F tier because like even for a season, this shit was ass. Even for a season that came with an expansion, it was bad. Because keep in mind, Season of the Hunt came with Beyond Light. The story, was it great? No. Was the activity particularly great? No, but it did have a really good exotic mission. It did have a final mission which rewarded an exotic ship at a rare drop chance. But the story wasn't absolutely awful, though. It had some interest to it. And with this Season of Defiance, because I believe this is Season of the Risen, Season of Defiance, you did have Vox Obscura. No, Vox Obscura. Did that come with this, or did it come with Witch Queen? I don't remember, but whatever. But the actual activity, the psyops, were pretty good, in my opinion. Even though they got repetitive after a little while, but yeah, no, Season of Defiance was just so bad. I'm pretty sure the Season of Defiance, yeah, because this is the Season of the Risen. Season of Defiance was really, really bad. In my opinion, that shit was ass. Now, Season of the Deep.
The witness has moved beyond our reach. All attempts to follow it have failed.
To any Guardians listening, this Deputy Committee Commander Sloan requesting emergency support.
I have Sloan's position as 1 kilometer down. Fire team, you are clear to descend. I am not leaving anyone behind again.
That distress call wasn't for me. It was for her. She knows our true enemy, the Witness.
Then it's just a matter of, well, diving into the depths of the methane sea and dredging up what Sloan needs.
Fire team, make this dive count.
That's still the only strand sword that I actually like. There's still only 2 strand swords in the game.
Remind them we're not in danger.
Oh, I forgot how this exotic. This exotic is trash. At least for a Titan, it's just trash. I'm sorry, but sprinting around is never a good idea. I'm not gonna consider these like cosmetic things or whatever. Okay. Okay. In my opinion, this is an A tier season. Season of the Deep was pretty good. Like, it sucks at time to not come back as a true destination, which would have been sick. Or at least something explorable similar to Dreadnought or Leviathan would have been really cool. Titan has always been my favorite planet. At least as far as Destiny 2 goes, it's been my favorite planet. I just absolutely loved being there. Which it sucks that it didn't come back. But both activities were pretty fun. The weapons having that Taken aesthetic was so cool. Were they good? The Strand Sword was good only really because it's still to this day the only non-caster frame Strand Sword that we have, because we only have 2 in the game currently still. But along with that, the shotgun, not terrible. Like, the weapons were kind of mid, but like, we have been asking for taking ship for so long, and they finally gave us weapons. It sucks that they weren't particularly great, but Ghost of the Deep was a pretty solid dungeon. It's a little bit long, but you did have no survivors and Cold Comfort coming from there, and Navigator was extremely huge, not just for, the speedrun community, but also for, like, the soloing community as well. Just absolutely phenomenal. So there was that. The story was pretty good as well. So yeah, I think it was just an A tier season or whatever, I just thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really good. I don't think it came with an exotic mission, because I don't remember any of the exotic. I think we got Wishkeeper, which was in Season of the Wish. I believe that's when Wishkeeper came. But I don't think we got anything before that. No, we did. We got nothing before that. So yeah, but Season of the Deep, I thought was really, really solid. The underwater stuff was pretty cool as well. Again, they could have done more with it, which is not why it's not an S or anything. But all in all, really, really good season, in my personal opinion. Now we're on to Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch. Season of the Witch.
Guardian, the witness poses a dire threat. And the Witch Queen holds the answers we seek. But only if we contend with her sister, Xivu Arath. It rests with me.
Will you come back from this?
Do not be afraid.
Bring me your tithes.
You now wield hive magic and have entwined it with your light. Assault.
I don't remember any of the weapons from Season of the Witch. Oh, that's right. All of them were ass, except for the exotic.
Let them know fear. The deck of whispers, and they do whisper. Fight in my name, Guardian. Every opponent you defeat strengthens me. My appetite rises for your brutal tributes.
Oh, I forgot Pyrogales that came out. I'm not going to consider that, though, because not every season really had it.
You have sounded the horn of battle. You are deserving of the greatest death I can bestow.
Okay. Season of the Witch is kind of a complicated situation. Because on its own, on its absolute own, it's like a C. The story was just not good, in my opinion. I know the Enigma or whatever, was a highly touted thing by some people. I didn't like it. I just have to be real. The activity was okay. I wish the cards played a little bit more of a role. All of the weapons were bad. I just have to be perfectly honest. They looked cool, but they looked decent, but all of them were bad. Like, the only good thing was that a new perk was introduced, being Heal Clip, but again, I'm not considering that, because future things would have Heal Clip. But, I don't know, it was just rough. However, the thing that really carried this was Crota's End for me. Crota's End was super fun. That's where I think the balance should be at for day one raids, is Crota's End. Crota's End should be the goal for balance. I thought it was perfect. Loved Necrochasm's edition. The weapons looked pretty cool. I love the hand cannon. I just love Word of Crota so much. Even Fang of Verdiut is pretty good, and Song of Verdiut was decent until, you know, the arc having LMG from Heresy, Watchful Eye. But, oh, and the armor, they finally used the Age of Triumph armor. It carried a lot of my playtime. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't think anything is offensively bad enough to be at C, necessarily, considering how much I loved Crota's End. That it still rocked the title and everything, even though, you know, not also because it's my rarest title. But yeah, it's just the rest was kind of just, it was a little bit more on the mid side. But so I think I have to put it at B here. If I do end up having to move stuff down a tier because these tiers are empty, then, you know, we'll figure that out there. But Crota's End massively carried this. Kind of similar to how Kingsfall absolutely carried Plunder, but Plunder was so bad. That, like, it just, without Kingsfall, it would probably be an F. But yeah, because the story at least was somewhat decent, and we did have the Savathun's wing thing for Wish or whatever, which was kind of cool. So to lead us into Season of the Wish. So yeah, I think it's just a B. Now, Season of the Wish. There is no Into the Light trailer. We'll be doing that in a bit. So. I have a final shape. We're gonna do the reveal trailer.
Only Riven can open the way. Riven, whose heart was torn out by guardians. We have a dragon to charm.
I am dead, as are the rest of my kind. But if you were to secure my eggs, then you would also secure your heart's desire. It is your turn to grant a last wish.
I'm not considering the returning weapons because I don't remember all of them from the previous seasons.
Beware, Guardian. You may find it a place most unwelcoming.
You knew from the beginning.
Last words.
And there's the exotic mission. Well, the exotic mission exotic. Well, what the fuck am I saying?
All wishes come at a cost.
Okay, so Season of the Wish. Season of the Wish has a few issues. For one, well, first off, let's start with the positive. The coil was really, really fun. And the other activity was okay as well. Okay, that's it for the positives. Okay, the Wishkeeper exotic mission was terrible. I have to be honest. That Wishkeeper exotic mission is still, in my opinion, the worst exotic mission Bungie has ever released. In my personal opinion, I hated it. Well, I didn't absolutely hate it, but I really didn't like it. To the point where even if that mission in, obviously, Pinnacle Ops, if it has the thing or whatever, a piece of loot that I need, I'm not doing it. I will skip it entirely. I only ever ran that mission twice. I did do the secret thing in there, but I'm sorry, I hated the exotic mission. The loot wasn't really that good either. The fusion rifle was okay. Stasis trace rifle was alright as well, but like, I just gotta be real, the loot was kind of mid. The loot was mid, if I'm just being perfectly honest. So for those reasons, and the story was okay. For those reasons, I just have to put it in C. I just have to. I don't remember if it came with a dungeon. No, it had to have, right? Right? Yeah, Ghost of the Deep. What was the fucking dungeon that launched after Ghost of the Deep? What was the other dungeon that launched after Ghost of the Deep? That's how you know shit is bad. That's how you know shit is bad when I can't remember what dungeon released. That's crazy because we had we had Duality, Spire of the Watcher, Ghost of the Deep. There's no shot. I'm missing one. Oh, sorry, Warlord's Ruin. Also, Warlord's Ruin only had one good weapon, being a Deadly Kindness, which seems to be par for the course for Bungie releasing activities with mid as fuck weapons. The dungeon itself was great though. The dungeon itself was great, and the story with the dungeon was really good too. I just don't think there's enough with Season of the Wish to bump it up to B exclusively. If obviously Into the Light was included with Season of the Wish, then it would be higher. But that would also be the same situation if 30th Anniversary was included with Season of the Lost. But they are treated separately, and as separate things, Season of the Wish was just a little bit less than it was subpar in my opinion. Mostly due to loot. Now, Into the Light. Into the Light is going to get a B. It's going to get a B. It was worse than 30th Anniversary. I just gotta be real with y'all. Onslaught was a really fun activity. However, using PvP maps was a little bit, especially considering that the 30th Anniversary had a completely new area, being Dares of Eternity with completely new area. Well, not absolutely, but it wasn't a reused PvP space. Weapons were good. Weapons were great from Into the Light. Except for the raid ones, because no one gives a fuck about the raid ones. But, you know, Luna's Howl, and Luna's Howl is really the only weapon from this that I still use ever so often. I don't think I used any of the other weapons. I didn't use Falling Guillotine, didn't use Succession. I think... and Mountaintop. Mountaintop and Luna's Howl were the only two weapons that I used for this event. But for the general player, this was pretty good. That being said, 30th Anniversary did have Retraced Path. The BXR was good at the time. The Wastelander shotgun is still great. And obviously Eager Edge was so good. So comparing those two, you know, whatever, but... And then, obviously, with 30th Anniversary, it had Grasp of Avarice and Gjallarhorn, and Into the Light had the exotic missions coming back. Outbreak didn't get any better. I'll be real. Whisper was alright as well. However, in my opinion, I feel like Whisper got gutted a little bit in terms of the secretness of it. If I'm being perfectly honest. But it was great to see Whisper and Outbreak return. So yeah, I just don't think it was as good as 30th Anniversary. And I think that's just the only thing holding it back there. But Into the Light was still pretty solid. So that's why it's getting a B. That's just the main reason why it's getting a B. Oh, but it did have Super Black. Super Black A. It did come with a shader, so a Super Black as well. So yeah, it just has to go in pretty solid now. It just has to. Because I forgot about Super Black. It had its own destination little area as well, where you can unlock armor and whatnot. So yeah. Yeah, it has to go in A, up there, 30th Anniversary. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know. Between these 5, there are no S tiers. There are no S tiers. And there is an F in here. I'm just letting y'all know that right now. We'll do Final Shape reveal trailer. Do we have an Edge of Fate launch trailer? We do have an Edge of Fate launch trailer. Okay, so... because the video's long, we're not actually just going to talk about Ashinar. We're not going to do, you know... You're not going to see the trailer, watch the trailer for Ashinar. It's kind of mid anyways.
Years, we never talked about it. Why I brought you back. Why you were chosen. truth is, I didn't know then. It was just a feeling. But I know now. After all we've seen, all we've lost, this fight might be our last. So I'm asking you one last time to rise.
Okay. Final Shape is a complicated situation. Because story was pretty good. Cade's death was foreseeable from the very start, which is why I didn't really give a fuck about his death. Like, I'm sorry, that's like, as y'all know, that's one of my biggest gripes with Final Shape, is Cade was in there and was clearly going to die off by the end. And I know there was a change, I believe, sometime through, and honestly, I found the original one to be a little bit more satisfying. I wish they would have kind of just left Cade's fate up in the air, so that they could have like maybe filmed a scene for later and then killed him off at some point later. Because at least from my personal standpoint, it was just I could not even afford to get attached to Cade really because of. And by the way, I don't hate Cade or anything. I really do like Cade. I wish he would have stuck around. But it was just so abundantly clear he was not gonna make it until the end, to the point where like Ronan, it was kind of unexpected. So I had at least a little bit of time, but with Cade, I just the second he appeared, I just detached. I just detached, right? And that's how foreseeable it was. To the point where it just really pissed me off because I was expecting. I personally don't like endings that I expect. I don't like endings that I expect. Like, imagine if you played Bloodborne and like expected to fucking fight Gehrman. I didn't. I didn't. I just submitted my life and then, well, no, I refused to die and bam, Gehrman. So good. So good, right? It's just like so many games with really impactful stories, like even like The Witcher and whatnot. They like you cannot have an extremely foreseeable ending. You just can't. And Final Shape had that. Also, I really wish they used the Witness's body kind of aesthetic, that sort of deal, a little bit more in the actual area that the Witness was in, instead of just using pyramid aesthetic. Because I gotta be honest, pyramid aesthetic is kind of mid in my opinion. I like more cosmic type stuff. It's like the Zavala house or whatever with the smoke and shit was super cool. It was super cool. I love that shit. But when I got to the end or whatever, I was really sick of the pyramid aesthetic. Salvation's Edge, still, in my opinion, one of the worst raids in Destiny franchise. I don't really like the raid mechanically. I don't like it visually. The armor is ass. The weapons suck. The exotic is ridiculously niche. However. Oh, and also Prismatic is like Prismatic Titan is just brain dead. Just completely brain dead. Like thinking about what we thought Prismatic was gonna be, we were hyped, and then when we found out what Prismatic actually was, horrible. However, the Final Shape campaign was pretty good. In terms of playing through it, it was pretty good. I didn't like the immunity shields, but it's whatever. Overthrow was really good as well. If we knew that things being a solo destination, if we knew that that was going to be the case going forward, I think we would have disagreed with it. if we knew this was going to be the case with Edge of Fate as well, I think we would have disagreed with this being a solo destination. But for the story, it made sense. Lost Sector was kind of okay. It was okay as well. But, you know, it was pretty good. Like the overthrow stuff was pretty good. The chest or whatever. Dual Destiny was still, in my opinion, a really, really good exotic mission. Exotic class items are alright. And the microcosm stuff was pretty good as well. It had some really, really good post-campaign content. I really do enjoy the last mission or whatever. You can't matchmake for it anymore. I do think Bungie needs to release a smaller version for that, because there were connection issues even at the time. For those reasons, it's going to be in B. Final Shape is going to be in B. I don't think it's as good as Witch Queen. I do think it was a step down. Same, I don't think it's as good as Forsaken or Taken King, Rise of Iron, you know, any of these. I just don't think it's as good as any of these. However, I think it's better than Shadowkeep, Dark Below, obviously Crystal Sires, and definitely better than Lightfall. But yeah, I just think it's, you know, whatever, you know. Okay. Episode Echoes. Episode Echoes.
A voice spoke to me on Nessus. I could not deny its
Episode
commands.
Echoes. Ooh.
I hear it still.
The witness is dead. From that victory, something new emerged.
The thing is, I know where I'm
We
going to put
didn't
some
know
of
what to
these.
call them, but echoes seemed apt. You won't be alone. We're sending our best.
I was once the Vex's greatest opponent. I should remind them.
And this did have a good guy, had the Aberrant Action, which is good.
I never thought I'd see him shaken up like that. He's always so strong.
Do not forget what you're dealing with. Uploaded.
Well, they actually show part of the exotic mission.
And the limit.
Again, I'm not considering Perfect Paradox or any of that stuff, any of the older weapons returning.
Will be ready.
They don't show the exotic for the exotic mission, though. Okay. It's going in D. It's going in D. It introduced the worst villain in franchise history, being Maya Sundaresh. The only reason why it's also the activities weren't particularly great necessarily, but the only reason why it's not in F currently is because Aberrant Action was really good, and the exotic mission was pretty solid, and that auto rifle is goated. That auto rifle is goated. So those are the only reasons why it's out of F. Otherwise, it would be straight in F. The story was just so bad. The story was just so bad. And the activities were just particularly great either. I'm already not a huge fan of the Vex as an enemy as a whole, and this episode or whatever did absolutely nothing for me. That's why it's in D. That's why it's in D. I basically the only positive I had to say is that exotic mission is really good. It was pretty good in my opinion. So yeah. Now we only have 3 trailers left. So.
Reborn through extinction. Risen. I scorn.
A new species of scorn. Are hunting.
I would say Bungie doesn't lean into some of their themes hard enough. They should have leaned into this theme harder. Because music and shit too, like. Oh, I remember the potions.
Stand against those who would cast us into ruin. Defend our people. But against the dead, killing is not enough. I name you Slayer Baron.
Like, why couldn't we get music like this? Is this Sepix Prime? Is this Sepix? Sepix music? I'm not considering new exotic armor pieces. Okay. Revenant. Revenant is a little bit of a complicated situation because its exotic mission was pretty solid, but the exotic itself is ass. Especially without destabilizing rounds. If it had destabilizing rounds, oh, it would be instant way up there, but it doesn't. I don't really like it. Comes from a no backup plans user sometimes. So, yeah, exotic shotgun's not great. However, the exotic mission is was pretty good in my opinion. Was pretty up there. The story wasn't particularly great. It felt like a little bit of a clash of stories going on. Like you have Mithrax and Aramis felt like a separate thing, and then Crow and Fickle stuff felt like an entirely different thing. It felt a little bit disjointed, which really did drag things down. The little Onslaught thing coming back was pretty decent. The Pulse Rifle from this season is so good. I love it. S&D was also pretty solid. That Onslaught activity was pretty good. You did have Lithium, which was solid for the time as well. But there wasn't particularly anything outstanding. There wasn't particularly anything great either. I just think it's going insane. Because I feel like in this game, one of the more rough offenses that you can make is by being boring. That's kind of what Revenant was. It didn't lean into the thing, oh, but it did have the note thing or whatever, but that's related to the exotic mission. It's just, I don't know. I was not really excited for this. Really. Like, while playing it, there's nothing really that kept me super engaged or whatever. So, it's just going insane. It's just going insane. Now, Heresy. Heresy, we have the Dreadnought come back.
Something is stirring in the hive, as it is in the Taken.
Got eyes on the Dreadnought.
Something that I do have to note, I cannot count either of the dungeons for their seasons. I am basically acting like that they don't have a dungeon. Like, I'm acting them as if they were a season without a dungeon. That's how I'm treating. Well, sorry, that's how I'm treating these episodes. Because I did not do Vesper's Host or Sunder Doctrine due to I didn't like the armor. I didn't like any of the weapons. So, because especially at this point in time, I've gotten to the at least at that time I had gotten to the point where I was like, okay, because Bungie has dropped the ball in 2 raids at this point in a row in terms of loot, and dungeon weapons have been ass for ages, I decided that I was not gonna waste my money on a dungeon if I didn't like the armor or the weapons, and that was the case for Vesper's Host, especially the exotic, because the exotics have been ass since Grasp of Avarice, really, for dungeons and raids. Gjallarhorn was really the last good one, because yeah, Hierarchy of Needs was not great. Hard Shadow was probably the actual last one that I liked. Navigator was solid, but Navigator was a weird situation. But Ghost of the Deep was a good dungeon overall because I liked the armor. Because I liked the armor, so obviously I would have gotten that one. But some previous dungeons I might have skipped. But yeah, so I decided not to do the dungeons. If I counted the dungeons, it would be a negative towards their seasons. So I'm deciding not to really count them and more treat them as if they were like an older season or something like that did not have a dungeon. For example, like a Season of the Chosen or a Season of the Splice, not Season of the Splice, but like a Season of the Chosen, something, or Season of the Hunt, something that did not have a dungeon with it. Just to give you all a better idea of how I'm putting things in here.
Has the Taken King returned?
You do pursue my power. bearer. My weapon. My throne. My dreadnought tests you, Guardian Knife.
We need to get Eris out of here!
Invite the horror in. Hold it close. Reach into the unknown. And prepare for it to reach back.
Heresy is, again, a little bit of a complicated situation due to I love the Dreadnought coming back. However, most of the weapons were kind of ass for me. The only weapon that I ever really grinded for was Watchful Eye, and I did grind the sidearm and the bow, even though I don't really use the bow, but that's mostly because I don't use Void as often anymore. But, some of the weapons were pretty decent. They were pretty alright. I love Watchful Eye as an arc LMG. I love that LMG. I haven't really been able to use it much in Edge of Fate, mostly due to my grind for Legend of Acreus. So my heavy slot is really being taken up currently. Like if I were to use Watchful Eye, I can't really use another exotic. So, but the thing with this is the story was pretty good. I did like the community puzzle was interesting at the end. My only issue is that it really did it felt community gated. It felt pretty community gated. It didn't necessarily feel like a group thing. And shoutouts to Scarrow, because Scarrow kind of pointed this out as well, wanting to get a lot of people getting the actual community involved, not holding things. I really do like Scarrow for like secrets and stuff. I do watch his streams every once in a while. So shoutouts to Scarrow, of the guy. But I wasn't a huge fan of it. A fan of how gate kept it was until the absolute end. And the rewards were pretty good though. The rewards are pretty decent. The quote unquote Taken Shader is not actually a Taken Shader. Was pretty decent as well. Pretty decent looking for the time. Well, not for the time, but you know. But yeah, it was pretty solid. It was pretty solid. I didn't like the exotic mission though. I also didn't really like Baradiad either. I know it has its some uses, but maybe I'm being honest, it's just not particularly great. But all in all, Heresy lasted for so long and had 2 different activities. I can't consider things like Bolt Charge or whatever for its case. But although I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was really good. Yeah, for the episodes, it was the best by a long shot. Yeah, I think Heresy was really good. Now time for Edge of Fate. Edge of Fate launch trailer.
Kepler. You've never been there. And you know every inch of it. It's the farthest either of us have been from home. In distance or in time. You're gonna get a call. An invitation only you can answer. And you'll say yes. They arranged it so you would never say no. Choice is real. And every choice you make.
I have so many thoughts on this. I have so many thoughts.
To who you're supposed to be. Ease up, weapon.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'm joking. Not about its placement though. So, Edge of Fate is to me the worst expansion in Destiny history. I think it's worse than Curse of Osiris because Curse of Osiris had more fucking content, had more fucking shit to it. Like, the only thing good about Edge of Fate was the story. That was it. Actually playing through the campaign was the worst experience that I've ever had in playing any sort of, like, Destiny campaign or Destiny seasonal story. It was the worst experience that I've ever had playing a campaign. It was abysmally long. It came with no fucking strikes. Curse of Osiris, I believe, came with 2 or 3. Even though Curse of Osiris is a small destination, you also had some public shit to do in there, and you had Infinite Force. Edge of Fate was basically a solo fucking destination. There wasn't shit to do in it, and the whole Sieve is not a public event. You just fucking launch that shit to get matched with 3 other fucking people. That's all it has. And the exotic mission, Graviton Spike, was horrible as well. It was terrible. Edge of Fate is the worst expansion, and it's not really that close. Curse of Osiris was better. Oh, and let's talk about Desert Perpetual. What I think is genuinely, I'm not counting Destiny 1 raids, but I think in Destiny 2 currently, Desert Perpetual is the worst raid in the entire game. No joke. I think it's the worst raid in the entire game. By the way, I've ran it a few times, but the problem is, you really can't fucking take new people into that raid. You really can't. You can't even take most earlier / mid-level players into that raid without it taking ages. The effective health. Fun fact: the effective health of all of the bosses equals or surpasses the Witness except for one of them, and that one is the Hydra boss, which has less. But keep in mind, only 4 people are really dealing damage the entire time, because 2 people have to do mechanics during damage. But both the Wyvern and the Hobgoblin are Witness levels of fucking effective health. Effective health means how much the health bar feels like it has. Like, say, for example, an object has 50 health and the other one has 1,000 health, but both of their effective health can be 2k. To you, the player, it's going to feel like they both have the exact same amount of health, even though they actually don't. So that's what I'm saying. However, the final boss I believe has double the Witness's fucking health, which is utterly absurd. Also, the armor set bonus is decent. That being said, the raid drops tier 1 or tier 2 loot without having to do a bunch of extra shit. You basically have to run the raid 4 fucking times to really do the title or anything, which I'm not doing. Like, I really like just having normal mode, master mode, simple to understand, and having encounter challenges being the things that mix shit up. I fucking hate the feat system. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Why are raids, which is supposed to be your pinnacle activity, why are they dropping tier 2 or tier 1 loot? When I could just go in solo ops and get things with, maybe better set bonuses, like in Pinnacle Ops or something like that, and get higher tier loot than a fucking raid. Why? Why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? Like, when you saw back before Edge of Fate, when you saw a player with adept weapons, when you saw them with adept raid weapons, you saw them with Artifice armor, you're like, oh, they've done some endgame activities, you get that. When you got that, back in the day, when you got that adept hothead, great, we got that adept slammer, we got that adept Lotus Eater, when you got some of those adept weapons, you're like, yes, I'm there running Grandmasters. You got that Artifice armor, right? You're like, oh, I got that shit on me like that. And even though rated adepts have been pretty garbage, because the adept is just not better at all than regular right? Whatever. It was just, but still, it was a sign that you had accomplished it. But nowadays, if you see people with tier 4 or tier 5 gear, you're just like, oh, they just play a lot. Not, oh, they've done the hardest content in the game or anything. No, oh, they just play a lot. It is a terrible indicator of skill to look at gear. The only actual good indicator of skill currently is looking at Triumph score. The only actual good indicator of players' skill and how much content a player has played is looking at Triumph score. Because most people that have higher Triumph score you have to have done some pretty difficult stuff or some really oddly specific things. Mainly titles. So I'm baffled by this expansion. By the way, but this is also not considering the portal and my issues with the portal, or really some issues I have with the tower, or that sort of deal, or the power grind, or anything like that. Is without taking any of that into consideration. Edge of Fate is horrible. It is terrible. And Ashen Iron doesn't look much better. I think Ashen Iron is going to end up in fucking F, because who gives a fuck about Maya Sunder Rush? No one. No one cares. Kill her off. Please, Bungie. You have to just completely eliminate Maya Sunder Rush. No one cares. No one gives a fuck. I just royally pisses me off. Royally pisses me off. And killing off one of the 9, whatever, was fine or whatever. It's just like, why isn't Xur involved? Why isn't Xur involved with the story dealing with the 9? Where the fuck is Xur? Where's the horse? It's the emissary is somewhat involved, but even then, like, the emissary is not super involved with the story. Just, oh my god, there's just so many issues. I have so many issues. And also, that's not even talking about the side quests in Edge of Fate that you can't really do at any time because they don't make fucking sense. You cannot actually just do the story, do random parts of the story. It's not really open-ended. It's a straight fucking line. It's a straight fucking line. We can go back and do some side stuff, but they are stuck in the time that they occurred, where they spawned in. And one of the side quests spawns in too late, where the dialogue makes no sense, even if you do it right after when it unlocks. And the Graviton Spike Exotic Quest did not involve an exotic mission or anything. It was just go here, pick this up, go here, pick this up, go here, pick this up. That's it. That is fucking it. I've never been so upset with an expansion. I've never been so upset. And I think Ashen Iron is going to lie around somewhere in F or D. Because we wanted the Plaguelands back for at least Fallen. At least Fallen. Why couldn't, you could have just had Mithrax be involved some kind of way with the Splicer shit. With the Splicer shit. You didn't even have to bring back Siva. Oh, and I swear, if it's not an explorable space, I don't know. I'm literally only playing the game right now because I paid for stuff. Because I paid for it. That's the only fucking reason why I'm still playing this game. This baffling decision. And the major takeaways here is, number one, Bungie has progressively, massively cut content in expansions. Massively cut content. Because, by the way, keep in mind, they said Edge of Fate was going to be like Warmind or Curse of Osiris. It has less content. It has less shit in it. And it has less shit in it. That's what's crazy to me. It has less shit in it. Because Edge of Fate has no fucking strikes. At least I'm pretty sure Edge of Fate has no fucking strikes. If it has one, I don't fucking remember. And it has no lost sectors either. It's Lost Sector, Caldera, massive air quotes around that. It's just a starting area, then a side path. That's it. That's it. It's basically like 2 areas in an area you just strictly pass through. That's a Lost Sector? That's a Lost Sector? Actually, take a look at some gameplay from Warmind. Go look at trailers from, Warmind and even Curse of Osiris with how bad, that was. Edge of Fate has less. Edge of Fate has less. I don't keep adding more than the recent expansions, which is crazy to say. Which is crazy to say. Like, just the thing that I've really noticed while watching all of these trailers is that, for one, Bungie is showing less and less and less in trailers. I'm just being real here. We no longer see any of the raid environment. We don't see the raid exotic at all. We don't really see the dungeons that much, if at all, either. We don't really see the dungeon exotics. I think Bungie really doesn't show that much in trailers anymore. That's one thing that I've really started to notice. But also, we've just been getting less content. We've been getting less content. And one, yes, that's partially due to them not having the backing of some studios, but also, like, Beyond Light had more shit to do than, you know, Witch Queen or Lightfall. Like, and even Final Shape with some regards. Final Shape to them was a big expansion. Process that. We got about the same amount of content in Final Shape and Beyond Light. Because you forgot about the Empire hunts, you forgot about the simulations, you forgot, about Lament, Exotic Quest, or whatever. You forgot the secret, well, semi-secret, Cloud Strike shenanigans. You had, several Lost Sectors. You had multiple strikes, which is something we did not have in Final Shape. So is Beyond Light now would that be considered a big expansion? What are we doing? What are we doing at Bungie? And the thing is, sometimes some seasons are better than expansions now, currently. I would rather have Season of the Chosen and Season of the Splicer as an expansion than Edge of Fate. I'd rather have those as a fucking expansion than Edge of Fate. And even Lightfall in some regard, if the season got Strand. If like Season of the Chosen got Strand, if Season of the Splicer got fucking Strand, I would take Season of the Splicer over Lightfall. With obviously a different raid included. Like, we're getting to the point now where older seasons were better than expansions, which is crazy. I don't think Renegades is gonna save the game. I really don't. It basically has to be a giga expansion to really save the game. The Portal's just not it. But the Portal is a different thing. But I'm actually gonna wrap up the video now. At some point, I do want to take a trip back to D1. I think D1 is way overhyped for how great it was, but I would say current Destiny 2 is worse than current Destiny 1. That being said, I would not say the same for the Year of Beyond Light. Year of the Beyond Light is still the best year that we've ever had, that the franchise has ever had, in my personal opinion. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Do you all agree with this for the most part? I know there's a few things in here that y'all probably think I have that are too high. I mean, that are too low. But is there anything in here that y'all think I have too high? Like, keep in mind, these are given in their context. Like, this is an S tier season. This is an S tier smaller expansion. This is an S tier actual expansion. This is an F tier expansion. This is an F tier season. So far and so forth. This is kept within their context. Because obviously a season is not going to have as much content as most expansions, right? Expansions are going to have more content and stuff than most seasons. So, yeah. Anyways, on that note, though, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. And I will catch y'all on the flip side.